Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQ. In this video, I will bring to you the banking awareness for the month of August in English. This is Act 1. Let's start. And as always, I will start the video with RBI circulars from 1st August to 15th of August. Let us start with a committee. This is an expert committee on benchmarking of the statistics. So basically, Reserve Bank of India has made two committees recently. One committee is about the fee structure for white label ATMs, and the second committee is expert committee on benchmarking of its statistics. So basically, Reserve Bank of India, it releases lot of data, lot of statistics from time to time. For example, RBI recently released digital payment index. Now, digital payment index showed that India is progressing a lot when it comes to adoption of digital payments. But how are we doing when it comes to the global digital payment adoption? So what we need to do is, one of the best practices that we need to benchmark our domestic data, domestic statistics with the global indices. So that is why this 10-member committee, you can see there are 10 members in the committee, but the chairman will be the Deputy Governor of the RBI, Mr. Michael Devbrat Patra. So this is a very important committee. And now let me tell you about the second committee, that is about the fee structure for white label ATMs. What are white label ATM? This committee is headed by Mr. Sunil Mehta. If you remember, Sunil Mehta is the former chairman of the Punjab National Bank, right? Currently, the managing director and CEO of Punjab National Bank is Mr. Atul Goyal. And who is Sunil Mehta? So currently he is the CEO of Indian Banks Association. White label ATMs are those ATMs which are not operated by the banks. So any organization apart from banks, if it opens ATM, those are called white label. It can be a NBFC, it can be a housing finance company, it can be any other organization. It should not be a bank, that's all. If any organization apart from a bank opens ATMs, those are called white label ATMs. So remember both the committee, the Sunil Mehta committee as well as the Michael Devbrat Patra committee. Now let's take a look at the circular that came on the 6th of August 2024. This is a circular about Kisan Credit Card. So modified interest subvention scheme. Interest subvention or interest equalization means you have to pay less interest compared to a normal person. That is, you get a concessional loan, right? So short-term loan for agriculture or allied activity through the Kisan Credit Card during the financial year 25. Now, Kisan Credit Card is called Kisan Credit Card because initially it was started to give the loans to the farmers. But can the people apart from farmers also take loan? Yes, they can. So if you are into allied activity, then also you can take a loan. Okay. Now, here you can see that for the financial year 25, you can take the loan at just 7% interest rate. 7% is very less. You know, if you see the normal interest rate, which is for agriculture loans, it is around 10%, 11% like that. But you can take at just 7%, that is concessional loan. Now tell me, why would a bank? So you can see this circular is applicable to the public sector banks as well as the private sector banks. Why would a bank give a loan to you at such concession at just 7%? Because 1.5% is the rate of interest subvention to the lending institution. So bank will earn 7% from the farmer and 1.5% from the government. So bank will earn 8.5%, which is okay, right? So 1.5% is the interest rate that the government will compensate, right? And what is the concessional loan? So it is given at a concession. It is given at just 7%. Now tell me, what is the maximum concessional loan that you can take through the Kisan Credit Card? Now, if you are taking for only agriculture, you can take up to 3 lakh. Now, does that mean that 3 lakh is the maximum loan that you can take through the Kisan Credit Card? No. 3 lakh is the maximum concessional loan. You cannot take more than 3 lakh at 7%. Okay. You can take up to 3 lakh at 7%. You can take more than 3 lakh loan also, but then normal rates will be applicable. You will not get it at a concession. If you are taking a loan only for allied activities, not for agriculture, allied activity is like pisciculture, that is fish rearing, or sericulture, that is silkworms rearing, apiculture, honeybees rearing, or for agroforestry, or for dairy, you are a dairy farmer. So any agricultural allied activity, then maximum concessional loan given to you is 2 lakh. So 2 lakh rupees is the sub limit for only allied activity, and for agriculture it is 3 lakh, and you can get it at just 7%. Now, if you pay the loan back on time, that is, if you repay the loan on time within 1 year, because it is a short-term loan, it is given generally for up to 1 year. So if you pay back the loan on time, you get extra 3% subsidy from the government. So you don't even have to pay 7%, you have to pay then just 4%, because 3% is the extra concession that will be given to you by the government of India, by the central government, if you pay the loan back on time, right? This is called modified interest subvention scheme, and government of India has approved the continuation of this scheme till 31st March 2025. So more often than not, they always extend this scheme. They keep on extending this scheme. Here you can see the maximum sublimit of 2 lakh rupees per farmer is there, if only for allied activity like animal husbandry, dairy, fisheries, beekeeping, etc., etc. And for agriculture, it is 3 lakh rupees per annum. This is the maximum. Now tell me this. For agriculture, it is 3 lakh, right? Which is the maximum concessional loan, or at just 7% interest rate. My question to you is this 3 lakh rupees loan collateral free? No. Out of the 3 lakh, up to 1.6 lakh is collateral free. Okay. So out of the 3 lakh, till 1.6 lakh only it is collateral free. And for the remaining 1.4 lakh, assuming you are taking 3 lakh loan, you have to give some collateral. Okay. So the loan under Kisan Credit Card, till the limit is not collateral free. Yes, till 1.6 lakh it is collateral free. So this is also a very good point, right? And one question can also come that Kisan Credit Card was introduced in which year? So Kisan Credit Card scheme was introduced in August 1998. So it has completed 26 glorious years. 26 glorious years. Now let's come to a slightly technical circular, which is about the cooperative banks. Now cooperative banks, you know what are cooperative banks? Well, cooperative banks are those banks which give the loans only to their members. Okay, there is a big history of how the cooperative bank started. We'll not go into too much detail in that. So cooperative banks. Now what some cooperative banks are doing is that they are making a reserve which is called bad and doubtful debt reserve. Let me tell you about it. So let us say this is a cooperative bank and it has given loan to some person. Now cooperative bank will make a fund. This is called BDDR. BDDR stands for what? Bad and doubtful debt reserve. Bad and doubtful debt reserve. So as the name says, if cooperative bank thinks that this loan is not coming back, in other words, this loan may become NPA in future, then for that there is a reserve called bad and doubtful debt reserve. Basically the money in this will be used to offset some of the losses, right? Now the problem is in calculation. So what some cooperative banks were doing, so let's say there are two cooperative banks, Cooperative Bank A and Cooperative Bank B. What Cooperative Bank A was doing, it is making BDDR, and Cooperative Bank is also making a bad and doubtful debt reserve. But during calculation, it was seen that not all cooperative banks, they put it at the same place in their profit and loss statement. So what some banks are doing is that they are showing it as expense. Some banks, what they are doing is they are decreasing their net profit. So they are adjusting the BDDR from their net profit. As a result, what happens? The accounting practices, they are compromised. RBI wants that every cooperative bank should have the same type of accounting practices, right? So what Reserve Bank of India saw is that some cooperative banks, they are creating bad and doubtful debt reserve, which is okay. They can create if they want. But in terms of accounting practices, you know, then there was an anomaly. Okay. So what some cooperative banks were doing is some cooperative banks, they were using BDDR. They were adjusting it from their net profit. whereas some of them was showing is at their expense. This is not permissible. So what is the RBI saying? RBI is saying that starting from the current financial year and as per the provisions of IRACP, that is income recognition, asset classification and provisioning norms, right? So what you have to do, you have to show it as an expense. So if there is a bank which is making BDDR or bad and doubtful debt reserve, then it has to be charged as an expense in the profit and loss account. Okay, so therefore the BDDR cannot be used to arrive at net NPA. You know that gross NPA is there, right? And net NPA is there. What is the difference? Provisioning. So gross NPA minus the provisioning is called net NPA. To give you an example, let's say there is a bank which has given total loans of 100 crore. So 100 crore is the total exposure of the banks. Now out of 100 crore, 10 crore did not come back. So 10 crore is the NPA. What type of NPA this is? Gross NPA. Okay, gross non-performing asset. 10 crore is the money that did not come back. Now out of 10 crore, let's say 5 crore is the provisioning that the bank has done. So what is the net NPA? Net NPA will be 5 crore. Net NPA will be 5 crore. And this provisioning is done keeping in mind the risk weightage associated with different loans. Okay. So net NPA will be 5 crore. So what are we using? We are minusing the provisioned amount from the gross NPA to arrive at net NPA. So you have to minus the provisioned amount. You cannot minus BDDR from it to arrive at net NPA. This is what RBI is saying. So you put the BDDR as an expense in your profit and loss statement. Another thing which the RBI is saying is that the BDDR, you can count it in your tier 1 capital. Tier 1 capital. You know that there are two types of capital in a bank. There is a tier 1 capital and there is a tier 2 capital. What is the difference between the two? So tier 1 capital is the core capital of the bank, which absorbs the losses. This is the capital that is used to run day-to-day operations in a bank. T2 capital is the relatively low quality capital. It is a bank supplementary capital or the additional capital which the bank holds in its reserves, right? So T1 is the core capital. So BDDR, if you are making a bad and doubtful debt reserve, this reserve, you are obviously putting money into this, right? Because so this you can count it in your tier 1 capital, but you must not arrive at net NPA. You must not decrease BDDR from gross NPA to arrive at net NPA. That is not permissible, is what RBI is saying. That's all you need to know at your level. Now let's come to a very important circular that came on 8th of August 2024. Frequency of reporting of credit information by credit institutions to the credit information companies. What is a credit institution? Someone who gives a credit, like a bank. So for example, if you have a account in State Bank of India, so State Bank of India is your credit institution, right? So credit institution can be a bank, it can be a NBFC, it can be a small finance bank, it can be a local area bank, regional rural bank, it can be a cooperative bank, it can be a NBFC. I mean, all of these, housing finance company, all of these are credit institution. Any institution that gives credit is a credit institution. Okay. And what is a credit information company? Credit information company you must be knowing, right? CIBIL score, have you heard? CIBIL score. So CIBIL is a Union CIBIL. It is a credit information company. So how many credit information companies are there in India? 4. As of 31st of March 2000 and 31st of May 2024. In fact, at the end of March also there were 4. Now also there are 4. Maybe in future they will open some more. But for now in India there are only 4 credit information companies. Like there is CIBIL, right? There is Equifax, there is Experian, and there is CRIF Highmark. And obviously they calculate your score. So for example, your Experian score, anything above 750 is considered good. You know the CIBIL score, 300 to 900, anything over, again, there is no prescription as such. It depends from individual to individual, but in general, above 700 is fine. If you have a CIBIL score, you will get loans easily, no problem. So what these credit information companies do, they take your credit data from banks like SBI, PNB, from whichever bank you have taken loan. They will take the credit data from there and then they will ascertain your credit worthiness, whether you are worthy of getting a loan or not. That is what they do. Now, sometimes what problem happens is, I'll tell you. So let's say you have taken a loan. You have taken a loan and you missed the EMI. Never miss your EMI, but let's say because of some money shortage, you missed your EMI. Okay. So your credit score will go down. Okay. Now you came to your senses, you realize, oh, I missed the EMI, and you paid the EMI next month. You paid the previous EMI also and the next EMI also. So your score will be good again. Okay, but it is not good again, and you are denied a second loan. If, let's say you needed another loan, they denied you because your score was not updated. So today is the digital age. What Reserve Bank of India is saying, that earlier what used to happen, all this CIBIL score and all, they used to get updated every month, because these companies, the credit information companies, they used to take data from the credit institutions or the banks, NBFCs, etc. every monthly. Now it will happen fortnightly. Fortnightly means what? 15 days. 15 days, right? So that is what is this circular about. So it talks about the frequency of reporting of credit information by the credit institutions to credit information company. So what does it say now? It says that the CIBIL score and all these things, they have to be updated very, very frequently. And therefore, instead of fetching the data monthly, you do it fortnightly. This is an important word. Fortnightly means every 15 days. So so the banks, they should send the data when? On the 15th of every month, and then again on the last day of the month, 30th or 31st, depending on what type of month it is, right? And therefore your score will get updated very, very frequently. Very, very frequently. So every 15 days, fortnightly basis, the banks should send the data to the credit information company so that it is updated frequently. Now, another thing, let's say State Bank of India has sent your data. You took a loan from SBI. So SBI sent your data to CIBIL. Okay, when did it send? It sent usually in 15 days. It obeyed the RBI guideline. What will CIBIL have to do now? So CIBIL has to ingest the credit information within 5 days. So within 5 days, 5 calendar days from the date of receipt of the data from the credit institution, it has to update it. Right? Earlier it was 7 days, now it is 5 days. So the credit information companies, they are required to ingest the credit information, data received from the credit institutions as per the data acceptance rules. Earlier it was 7 days, now it has been revised to 5 calendar days. So this also you keep in mind, and it will be applicable from 1st of January 2025. The circular will be applicable from the new year 2025. Easy. Okay, now let's come to one of the most important circulars, which is about the housing finance companies. And there needs to be harmonization of the rules between HFCs and NBFCs. Between HFCs and NBFCs. What is the meaning of this? Let me tell you. Look, NBFCs, you know what are NBFCs like? NBFCs, they give loan. They give loan especially in the rural area. See, in the rural area, people depend on NBFCs only. You can say almost 60 to 70% of the loan that the rural people take, personal loan or any loan, it is from NBFCs. Because banks, they are very, very strict when it comes to giving the loan. All your papers have to be complete, your score, all of these things. NBFCs are relatively lenient in that regard. Yes, they will charge more interest than a bank usually, but they will give you the loan, right? So NBFCs are very important from the rural areas point of view. Now, there are a special type of NBFCs which are called housing finance companies. Okay, can a normal NBFC give housing loan? Of course it can give, of course. Then why they have made a separate NBFCs called NBFC HFC or housing finance company? So there are some conditions which have been put by RBI. What is the condition? So a housing finance company, 60% of its assets, they have to go towards housing finance. 60% of the assets of a housing finance company has to go towards housing finance. And out of the 60%, 50% of it has to go to the individual housing loan. Individual housing loan. Like for example, if people like you and me, we are taking home loan or housing loan, home loan is taken for either buying a new house or constructing a house. So 60% of the assets, total assets of a housing finance company has to go towards housing finance, and 50%, should be for individual home loan. That is the condition for HFC which it has to fulfill. And what is the net own fund requirement for HFC? 20 crore. 20 crore is the net own fund requirement for a housing finance company. These three things you remember about HFC. Now there is some problem. The problem is that the NBFC and HFCs, yes, they are almost the same, just that HFCs are specialized into a different category or a separate category called housing finance or home finance. But there are so much differences in the rules and regulation with respect to both, which RBI said, I don't like it. I want that both the NBFCs and the HFCs, they should follow the same rules and regulations. So there has to be what? There has to be harmonization. Harmonization means we will make the rules and regulation same for all. By the way, another good question. Who regulates housing finance companies in India? So till 2019 August, housing finance companies were regulated by National Housing Bank. But from 9th of August 2019, they are regulated by the RBI, and NHB merely has a supervisory role. So NHB will supervise, all right. NHB will supervise them. It will try to increase the housing finance market, promote them, market them. Those are other things. But HFCs are now regulated directly by the RBI. Till August 2019, HFCs in India, they were regulated by the National Housing Bank, not anymore. Now only they are supervised by NHB, but they are regulated by the RBI. So what RBI is saying, that I don't like it, that HFCs and NBFCs, they have different rules and regulation. Let us make it common for all. So now they have given what? They have given a master circular. They have given a master circular. So let me explain this to you. And by the way, this circular will be applicable from when? It will be applicable from New Year 2025. So let's start. By the way, all those things which apply to NBFC also apply to HFC. For example, NBFCs are of two types, deposit taking and non-deposit taking. HFCs are also of two types, deposit taking and non-deposit taking. The only difference is that between a bank and these companies, banks can accept both demand deposit and term deposit. Term deposit means FD. Demand deposit means when you open a saving account and you put the deposit. That is called demand deposit. So, but NBFCs and HFCs, if they are deposit taking, they can accept only term deposits or FD. They cannot accept demand deposit. And for a bank, you can write a check, right? But on NBFC and HFC, you cannot write a check because NBFCs and HFC, they are not a part of the payment and settlement system. Payment and settlement system. Also, the DICGC insurance. See, if a bank shuts down, you get 5 lakh rupees back. This is the money that you will get back. This is called Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation, DICGC, right? But NBFC and HFC, they don't have DICGC protection. So if you are putting your money in NBFC or HFC, be very careful. You will not get a penny back if they shut down, right? These are some differences between bank and NBFC HFCs. Now, so how is, I repeat, how is the Reserve Bank of India harmonizing the rules and regulation for HFC and NBFC? First, let's talk about the total liquid assets. Total liquid assets, what is the requirement? Total liquid assets as a percentage of the public deposits. So all the deposit taking HFCs, they have to maintain on an ongoing basis liquid assets to the extent of 15%. Currently it is 13% of the public deposits held by them in a phased manner. What is the meaning of this? Let's say there is a deposit taking housing finance company which is taking FD from you, term deposit from you. It is taking, for every 100 rupee that it gets, it has to maintain 13 rupees in a capital reserve. So the liquid assets that need to be maintained, highly liquid asset, these are cash. So liquid assets which need to be maintained by a deposit taking HFC is 13% of the public deposits. but now it will be increased from 13% to 15%. You can see currently it is 13%. It will be increased to 15%, but look, from 13 directly to 15, it takes time. So they have given time. So there is a gliding path which RBI has given. 14% you have to keep till 1st January 2025. So by the new year 2025, you should be in a position to keep 14% of the public deposits as liquid assets. And then by 1st July 2025, so you get further 6 months more. So by 1st July 2025, you have to make it 15%. So very important MCQ can come. What is the percentage of what is the total liquid assets as a percentage of the public deposits which need to be maintained by a deposit taking HFC as per the new regulations of the RBI? The answer is 15%. Earlier it was 13, now it is 15. So it has been brought in the same level as a NBFC. Now let us talk about unencumbered approved securities. What is the meaning of this? So with respect to banks, have you heard about SLR? Statutory liquidity ratio. What is that? How much is that? 18%. This you know. Which is what? Which means that for every 100 rupee of deposits which a bank gets, 18% of a bank's assets, and it need not be in cash. It is 18% of the assets. They have to invest in the government securities, for example, right? That is SLR. Similarly, for NBFCs and for HFCs, these are unencumbered approved security, which are like government security. So basically what happens is that in unencumbered approved securities, you have three types of security. You have all these dated government securities which have some maturity period. You have the treasury bills of the government, and you have state development loans of the state government. So for every 100 rupee, again these are also as a percent of the public deposit. So for every 100 rupee that a deposit taking HFC gets, 6.5%, currently 6.5%, it has to invest in the unencumbered approved security. Unencumbered approved security, that is treasury bill or government securities, central government securities, or the state development loans, which are essentially state government securities, right? But it will be increased now, so it will be brought to 10%. But again, it may not be possible in the short term, so they have given time. So till New Year 2025, you have to make it 8%, and till 1st of July, you have been given time. 1st of July 2025, you should be in a position to invest 10%, in the unencumbered approved security, which includes dated securities of the Government of India, treasury bills of the Government of India, or state development loans of the state government. Also, don't forget that there is a NHB Act of 1987, National Housing Bank Act of 1987. There is a section called Section 29B. This section can come in MCQ because they have amended this section. This section 29B of the NHB Act of 1987 said that 13% liquid asset requirement is there of the percentage of the public deposit. Now it is 15%. To make it 15% from 13%, they have changed this section called Section 29B of the National Housing Bank Act of 1987. Make sense? So these two, both of these can be MCQ. You have to remember both. Unencumbered approved security percentage is 10% and total liquid asset percentage is 15% for HFCs now. Now let's talk about another requirement, which is to be eligible. I repeat, to be eligible to accept the public deposit, the deposit taking HFC, they have to invariably obtain a minimum investment grade credit rating at least once a year. So deposit taking housing finance company, it has to have a minimum investment grade credit rating. It can approach a credit rating agency, like our local ones are also fine, like CRISIL, for example, ICRA, India Ratings and Research, all these Indian credit rating agency, and it has to take an investment grade rating. The minimum rating is BBB minus. See, if for a deposit taking HFC, the rating is worse than BBB minus, then it cannot accept fresh deposits, right? So if a housing finance company's credit rating is below the minimum investment grade, the minimum investment grade is how much? BBB minus. If it is below that, then it cannot renew the existing deposit, nor it can accept the fresh term deposits. Got it? Now let's come to a very important, that is the quanta of deposits. Quanta of deposit. Now you can see it has been reduced from 3 times of the net owned fund to just 1.5 times. Let's say there is a housing finance company which is deposit taking and it wants to accept term deposits from people. Can it accept unlimited money from people? Can it accept unlimited FD from people? No. The maximum deposits which a housing finance company deposit taking can take from people is earlier 3 times net owned fund. So let's say the net owned fund for a housing finance company deposit taking is 100 crore. So how much deposits it can accept? 300 crore, 3 times the net owned fund. And you know the net owned fund cannot be less than 20 crore because for a housing finance company, the net owned fund cannot be more than 20 crore. This is a requirement by the RBI. But now it is not 3 times, it has been reduced from 3 times to 1.5 times. So if 100 crore is the net owned fund of a housing finance company, it can accept only 150 crore maximum from all the people put together. It cannot have more than 150 crore of deposits. Right? This is a condition of the RBI. So the deposit accepting capacity of a housing finance company has been reduced by half. It has been reduced by half. Make sense? So they will have some trouble, you know, because the deposit taking capacity has been reduced. But will it really cause them trouble? That I will tell you in next 2 minutes. Let us come to some other point. Since I mentioned deposit taking, see, even the banks of India, they are finding it tough to match the credit growth. To give you an example, last year, that is financial year 24, the credit growth was approximately 13%, but the deposit growth was just 10%. So people are taking a lot of loans. That is, credit growth is very high. People are taking all these things, buy now, pay later, and I mean, people are going crazy. They are taking so much loans. So credit growth is all-time high, but deposit growth is all-time low. Deposit growth was just 10%. So where will the banks get money? Now here is the thing. See, it is not like the deposits are the only source for the bank's money. They can take money from RBI at repo rate. Okay, they can take money from RBI at repo rate. Then another thing which the banks can do is they can issue bonds. They can issue debt instruments. They can issue bonds, collect money from the people. They can, since banks are issuing it, obviously these will be good rated bonds. People will invest in them. Banks will get money, and then banks can give that money further as loan. That is also what they can do, right? Or what they can do. So, you know, today is 28th of August, and today is the retirement day of the chairman of SBI, Dinesh Khar. Now, I was reading an extensive interview of Dinesh Khar yesterday. You can also read that interview. I will put the link of that in Telegram group. Dinesh Khar was asked very pointed question. He said, I mean, the journalist was very good. Journalist asked Mr. Dinesh Khar, the chairman of the SBI, sir, the credit growth is 13%, deposit growth is only 10%. So will the banks not find it tough? He said no, because the SLR requirement is how much? 18%. Currently, the banks of India put together, their combined SLR will be approximately 23%. So they can always reduce their SLR. 23% they have invested in the government securities. They can reduce that to 18%, bring it down to the bare minimum prescribed by the RBI, and they can give it that as loan. So this is sufficient. I mean, 5% is a lot of money. So he said we can always bring down the SLR requirement to the prescribed limit by the RBI, because banks, they have put a lot of money in the government securities. So they will withdraw that amount and they will make up for the less deposit growth. That was what he was saying. So this is also an option. You can borrow from RBI at repo rate. That is also an option, right? You can issue bonds. The banks can issue good bonds, good rating bonds. That is also an option. So it is not like banks are dying or anything like that. Some people have this habit of always spelling doom and gloom. It is never like that. Okay, Indian banks are very healthy. In fact, they have been the healthiest in the last so many years. You can see the net NPA ratio is below what? Below 1%. I taught you RBI financial stability report. What was the gross NPA ratio? 2.8%, and net NPA ratio 0.6% in the financial year 24. So net NPA ratio is below 0.6%. RBI said it has to be below 6%. It is below 1%. That is how healthy the Indian banks are. Anyways, now I told you what? I told you the deposit taking capacity of HFC has been reduced by half. This I told you. Another thing you have to remember here, the public deposits accepted or renewed by the HFC, they will be repayable after a period of 12 months or more, but not later than 60 months. Now, another thing that HFCs have been hit with. See, earlier, if HFCs which were deposit taking, they could accept your term deposits for 1 to 10 years. Minimum 1 year, maximum 10 years, right? Now it has been reduced by half again. So now it is 1 to 5 years only. So if you are putting money in a HFC, then it is repayable to you. They have to return it back after 1 year. If it is maturity period is 1 year, otherwise they have to return after 60 months for sure. Earlier, currently it is 120 month, but now it is not later than 60 month, which means maximum 5 years. So you cannot put a FD, you cannot put a term deposit in a housing finance company for more than 5 years. Earlier you could put for 10 years, not anymore, not anymore, right? So these are the changes which have been done. Now, another important thing, look here, the branches and appointment of agents to collect the deposits. Now tell me, can a housing finance company do two things? Can it open new branches and can it appoint agents to collect the deposits? Yes, it can, but for that there is a rule and regulation. What is that? Look here. If a housing finance company wants to open new branches, or if it wants to appoint agents to collect the deposits, then these are the condition. If the net owned fund, you know the net owned fund cannot be less than 20 crore, right? If the net owned fund is up to 50 crore, then it can open new branches or it can appoint the agents within the same state where its registered office or headquarters is there. Let's say there is a housing finance company called Griha Housing Finance Company. Okay, very big company, Griha Housing Finance Company, and it is headquartered, let's say, in Delhi. Now, its net owned fund is 40 crore. Then it can open the branch only in Delhi, new branches only in Delhi. Since it is mentioned state, so let's take the example of UP. If it is in UP, let's say headquarters is in Lucknow. Then if the net owned fund is up to 50 crore, it can open the branches within the state where its registered office is situated. But if it wants to open branch anywhere in India, then the net owned fund should be more than 50 crore and the credit rating should be minimum AA or more. Understood that? So if a housing finance company wants to open new branches, right? Or if it wants to appoint agents, if it wants to open new branches in the entire India, anywhere in India, or if it wants to appoint the agents to collect the deposits in the entire India, what it needs to do, its net owned fund requirement has to be more than 50 crore and the minimum credit rating should be AA. Should be AA minimum. Then yes, it is possible. Yes, then it is possible. Also, as I said to you earlier, the minimum investment grade credit rating shall be BBB minus from any of the SEBI registered credit rating agency. This is for what? This credit rating minimum BBB minus is for accepting deposits. If a housing finance company wants to accept deposits, public deposit, then it has to obtain minimum rating BBB minus. And if it wants to open branches anywhere in India, the minimum rating is AA. AA. So don't get confused between the two. Now, I told you that the deposit taking capacity of housing finance company has been reduced by half, because earlier they could take 3 times the net owned fund. Now they can take deposits only 1.5 times the net owned fund. Will it affect the housing finance companies of India? So I tried to search that and I found this report by Chrysler. It said that there are 94 housing finance companies in India Out of that, 12 are deposit taking. So only 12 deposit taking HFCs are there in India. And total, the public deposits are 25,000 crore in that. Okay. Which is only 5% roughly of their total borrowings. So there are how many? There are just 12 housing finance companies in India which are deposit taking. For every 100 rupee they borrow, only 5 rupee they borrow from the public. So remaining 95 they take from other sources. They borrow from other NBFCs or banks or other areas. Only 5% is public deposit. See, even otherwise, have you ever seen a guy who will go to a housing finance company to deposit money for doing a FD? There are banks. Why do you need to go to HFC, right? So they will not be affected that much by the reduction of their deposit taking capacity. This was said in the Chrysler report. Now let us come to some other things in housing finance company. Very important, housing finance company has been allowed by the Reserve Bank of India to issue co-branded credit cards. What are co-branded credit card? Let's say State Bank of India and LIC Housing Finance, they are launching a credit card together, right? So co-branded credit cards HFCs can now issue. Earlier they could not, now they can. This is a big permission given by the Reserve Bank of India to the HFCs. Also, HFCs can now invest money in the SEBI recognized exchanges, right? They can invest in futures and options. Those are derivatives market. Earlier they could not. Now HFCs, if they have spare money lying with them, they can invest it into the futures and option. The condition is that non-deposit taking HFC, their asset size has to be minimum 1000 crore and above. Minimum 1000 crore and above if they want to invest in the currency options or if they want to invest into the future market. Okay, if they want to invest into the future market or the options market, the minimum asset size has to be 1000 crore or more. So this is also a permission given to them by the RBI. Now, another very important point, the NBFCs of India, including HFCs. So NBFCs of India, if you are putting money into them, you are putting term deposits in them, right? Let's say you put the money for 2 years. You have done a FD of 10 lakh rupees in a NBFC for 2 years. Now after 2 months, there is some critical illness in your family. Some illness, okay, critical illness in your family. Can you withdraw your FD? Yes, you can. In the first 3 months, you can, but you will not get any interest. And this you can withdraw only when there is a critical illness in your family or there is a natural disaster. Otherwise, you cannot. You can invest full 100% of the deposit amount. I repeat, Reserve Bank of India has said that if you have put money into an NBFC, you can withdraw the entire 100% of the deposit amount within the first 3 months. The only thing is that no interest will be paid. So if you are withdrawing the money after 2 months, you will not get the interest for 2 months. You will not get any money. But yes, you can withdraw 100% of the amount. Now let's come to the second situation. Let's say you have put money into the NBFC and there is no critical illness, there is no natural disaster. But if you want to withdraw the money, let's say you need money, there is a marriage in your family. Can you withdraw? Yes. But in this case, you can only withdraw 50% of the deposit. Again, you will not get any interest on that 50% money that you have withdrawn. So, and that 50% or 5 lakh, whichever is lower. 50% or 5 lakh, whichever is lower, which means that what? Which means you cannot withdraw more than 5 lakh. So if you have put a FD into NBFC of 50 lakh, can you withdraw 25 lakh 50%? No. The max you can withdraw is 5 lakh. 50% or 5 lakh, whichever is lower, it can be prematurely withdrawn in the first 3 months. And again, you will not get any interest. So these are also conditions which have been put by the Reserve Bank of India on the NBFCs. So I hope housing finance company, everything was crystal clear. I tried to make it easy for you. These concepts are not that simple, but you have to dig deep into it, right? Only then you will get confidence. Otherwise, you will just be going through the circular, you will be reading the same thing again and again, but nothing will go in your brain. So that is why I try to make it lucid, basically break it down to a language where you can understand it, right? These are complicated things. RBI circulars is the one of the most complicated things that you can study. Okay, now let us come to a circular from 26th of February. Now you will tell me, sir, this is August video. Why are you taking us back in time? Well, I'm taking you back in time because in February 2024, there was a competition that was organized by the RBI. Okay, so there was a financial literacy week that was celebrated, or that was organized by the RBI from 26th of Feb to 1st of March. This was the financial literacy week, and Reserve Bank of India, they have been celebrating financial literacy week every year since 2016. So 2016 financial literacy week was celebrated for the first time. And what was the theme of the financial literacy week? The theme was make a right start, become financially smart. Make a right start, become financially smart. And on this occasion, there was a competition also that was organized, which was called Financial Literacy Ideathon. Financial Literacy Ideathon. So now finally, after 6 months, on 5th of August, the winners of Financial Literacy Ideathon have been announced. First position, so total 256 people, they participated. They were in the final. First position is Gautam Singh from Muzaffarpur in Bihar. Second position is Siddhi Balacharya from University of Mumbai. And third is Ishan Dikshit from IIT Roorkee. So these are the three winners. Congratulations to them. You don't have to remember their names, but let me give you a closer, because you might have wondered who are the winners. So here are the winners. Let us move on. Now let us come to a circular that came on 12th of August. And again, this was not an easy circular. This was review of the risk weight again for the housing finance companies. See, risk weight. So housing finance companies, they will give you the money for what? So they will give you for commercial, commercial property. Commercial property means what? Commercial property, like the property in which you open your shop, you open your office, that is commercial property. Or it can be a residential property. There are two types of property only. Commercial property, so you call it commercial real estate, or residential building. They will give you the loan for that. Now, what is the risk weight it carries? So see, every loan has a certain risk weight, right? So if it is a standard asset, the risk weight will be 75%. Risk weight will be 75% for any asset, that is commercial real estate building or residential building, if it is a normal standard asset. If it is not a standard asset, then it will be 100%. Then it will be 100%. So this is the risk weight that will be used by the housing finance companies to calculate their capital adequacy ratio. What is capital adequacy ratio? It is the capital to risk weighted assets ratio. So that calculation is done based on the risk weight associated with a particular loan. So the risk weight for a standard asset will be 75%, and the risk weight for a non-standard asset will be 100%. This is the thing that the housing finance companies, they have to keep in mind now. Now let's come to a circular that came on 16th of August. I have covered it here, 16th of August. And this is about non-banking financial company peer-to-peer lending platform. What is the meaning of this? What is peer-to-peer lending? What is peer-to-peer? See, peer is your friends, your peers, your contemporaries, whatever English word you prefer. Okay. Peer-to-peer lending means what? Let me explain. Well, this is you and you need a loan. Now you can go to the bank, bank says no. You go to NBFC, they say no. You go to any other institution, you go to Muthoot Finance and all these companies, everyone says no. Then what is the option that you have? Well, you go to your friends. So those are your peer. Now the problem is that there is a saying, before lending money to a friend, decide which you need more. See, money may not come back and all those, your friendship may break, all those things are happening. So there is a special type of company which have been floated by the RBI called NBFC P2P, peer-to-peer. So basically NBFC P2P, what they do, they provide you a platform where you and there are many people like you. Some need money and some lend money to make money. They are all on the one platform and matching is done. For example, on a P2P platform, you put your request, I need 5 lakh rupees loan. So some person who will be interested will give you the loan, and all the verification and all those things will be done by NBFC P2P. Okay. So NBFC P2P means person to person. Okay. Peer to peer. When one person is taking a loan from another person, it is called peer-to-peer lending. That person is not taking a loan from institution. The institution, in this case NBFC P2P, is merely a enabler. So for that, master directions have come for peer-to-peer lending platform. What are the things that a peer-to-peer platform, NBFC P2P lending platforms, they have to keep in mind? For that, some RBI regulations have come. So here are the regulation. Only one or two are important from exam point of view that I will cover. First, NBFC P2P shall not provide or arrange any credit enhancement or credit guarantee. NBFC P2P shall not assume any credit risk, either directly or indirectly, arising out of transaction carried out on the platform. In other words, entire loss of the principal or interest or both has to be borne by the lender. Now let's say this is a peer-to-peer platform. This is a peer-to-peer platform. This is a person who is lending the money, and this is a person who is taking the money, who is taking the loan. Now, this person has given a loan to this person, and this person has run away. Now, will the losses be absorbed by the P2P? For this person, this loan became an NPA. No. See, NBFC will not absorb any loss. Neither it can absorb the loss, nor it is responsible for all these things, right? So that is very clear here. So NBFC P2P, the entire loss of the principal or interest or both has to be borne by the lender. NBFC P2P is merely providing a platform. It is managing the platform. It is doing all those things, but it will not take any credit guarantee or any credit enhancement or any recovery of the loan or any bearing of the losses. Okay. Next, NBFC P2P will not cross-sell any product except for loan-specific insurance products. So it can cross-sell loan-specific insurance products. For example, in this example, this P2P can say to this person, look, you are giving this person 10 lakh rupees, better take insurance just in case. So it can sell those products, but otherwise it cannot cross-sell any other product. Nothing. And what is the maximum limit? The maximum loan that is possible on a P2P platform is 50 lakh rupees. So this person who is the lender, the maximum loan it can give is 50 lakh, but there is a condition. Any loan above 10 lakh will require you to contact your chartered accountant and show an affidavit that your minimum net worth is 50 lakh. Okay. So let's say there is a person A who is giving a loan to person B. How much loan? 11 lakh rupees. Okay. But can it give 11 lakh just like that? No. First, it has to submit a certificate that his net worth is at least 50 lakh. Only then it can give a loan of 11 lakh. So if you want to be a lender and if you want to give a loan of more than 10 lakh rupees on a P2P platform, your net worth will be minimum 50 lakh and that has to be approved by your CA. Another thing, what is the maximum loan that you can give? Maximum loan that you can give is 50 lakh on a NBFC P2P platform. So that is exactly what is written here. The aggregate exposure. Now look, this 50 lakh, I'm not saying you give it to one person. If you want to give it to 5 people, you can give 10 lakh to all 5, but it should not exceed 50 lakh is what I'm saying. I'm not saying 50 lakh, you can give it to one person. No, 50 lakh is the overall. If you want to give loan to 100 people, go ahead and do it. But that 100 people together, the cumulative loan will not exceed 50 lakh. That is what I meant. Okay. So aggregate exposure, aggregate loan to whoever number of borrowers you give will not exceed 50 lakh at any point of time on a P2P platform. Also, if you want to give a loan of more than 10 lakh, then please submit a certificate from your practicing chartered accountant. Show the proof that your minimum net worth is at least 50 lakh. Only then you can give a loan of more than 10 lakh rupees. So that should be enough from an exam perspective. Now let us talk about a circular that came on 8th of August. This is of course the monetary policy, and the next monetary policy will be in the month of October. Okay, next monetary policy will be in the month of October. October what? October 2024. Now, what does it say? By the way, this monetary policy, which section of the RBI says that there will be a monetary policy committee? So this is section 45ZB. Section 45ZB of what? Of the RBI Act of 1934 says that there will be a monetary policy committee which will have 6 members, 3 from the government, 3 from the RBI. Okay. So monetary policy committee has how many members? 6 members. Now for a meeting to happen, how many members need to be present? That is, what is the quorum? Quorum means the minimum strength. It is 4 members. 2 members can be absent maximum, but not more than 2. If 3 members are not feeling well or something like that, meeting will not happen. Now tell me, what is the main purpose of the monetary policy committee? It is to control inflation. It is just one line answer. It is to control inflation. The main purpose of the monetary policy committee is to control inflation. And monetary policy committee, how many times it has to meet? Well, usually it meets after every 2 months, that is 6 times a year, but the minimum requirement is 4 times a year. This is a good MCQ. How many times? What is the minimum mandatory requirement of meeting for a monetary policy committee? The answer is 4 times a year. 4 times a year. So they have not changed anything. Everything is the same. The repo rate is the same. Let me show you. Cash reserve ratio is 4.5% and SLR is 18%. Statutory liquidity ratio. Repo rate is the same, 6.5%. Standing deposit facility rate is 6.25%. Marginal standing facility 6.75. Bank rate 6.75. And the fixed reverse repo rate is 3.35%. Nothing has changed. All the rates are same. Makes your job much easier. Now, what is the headline inflation? See, there are 2 types of inflation, you know, headline inflation and core inflation. What is the difference? Headline inflation is your normal inflation, which includes everything. Core inflation will not include food prices and fuel prices, because food and fuel prices, they change every day. So they are highly volatile. So when we calculate core inflation, we do not include food and fuel, but in headline inflation, we include food and fuel. That is the difference. And how do we calculate headline inflation? So we calculate it through the CPI. So CPI is the index that we use to showcase the headline inflation. Now I'll tell you what happened here in monetary policy committee, because this time it was very interesting. Now, you know, for last so many months, they have not changed the repo rate. This time they wanted to. So 6 members, 4 said, no, nothing, don't change. 2 said, please decrease the repo rate because we need growth in our economy. But what happened was, in the month of June, the headline inflation was 5.1%, extremely high. You know, headline inflation, the tomato prices, I mean, they went through the roof. The onion prices, they went through the roof. As a result, headline inflation increased. Headline inflation includes the prices of the food and fuel. Fuel prices were okay, but food prices went through the roof. That is why they did not decrease the repo rate this time. It was also hoping that they will decrease the repo rate, right? But they did not. Why? Because if they decrease the repo rate, then what will happen? Then loans will become cheaper. Repo rate is what? Rate at which RBI gives loan to the bank. So if it decreases, loans become cheaper. So loans become cheaper, people will take loan, people will spend them on goods and services, demand of goods and services will increase, and the demand increases, price increases, inflation increases. That is why they did not increase the repo rate, because headline inflation in June was 5.1. You can see headline inflation in June was 5.1, and therefore they were alarmed. That is why 4 people out of 6 said, don't cut the repo rate. Now, what is the projection of the GDP? So the real GDP growth of India, according to the RBI, is 7.2% for the current financial year 2025. And what is the inflation projection? 4.5%. CPI inflation, 4.5%. The CPI inflation means what? CPI is the, it shows the headline inflation. The headline inflation is showcased by the CPI, right? So 4.5 for this financial year. This is the CPI inflation, which is projected by the RBI, right? And what is the full form of CPI? Consumer Price Index. Consumer Price Index. This is the total inflation in the economy, which includes food and fuel and other commodities as well. Reserve Bank of India has imposed monetary penalty on Union Bank of India. So basically RBI puts monetary penalties on lot of institutions, banks, NBFCs, etc. But if it is a big bank, definitely you should know about it. So how much is the fine? It is 1 crore 6 lakh and 40,000. 1 crore 6 lakh and 40,000 because Union Bank of India was not following the KYC norms, and also it was non-compliant with certain directions issued by the RBI, especially the KYC. Also, Union Bank of India was not maintaining a central repository of large common exposures across the banks. Now, Bank of Maharashtra also, it's a public sector bank, and the penalty was even larger. 1 crore. 1 crore 27 lakh 20,000. 1 crore 27 lakh 20,000. This was the penalty on Bank of Maharashtra because there was a lack of the cyber security framework and also KYC norms. Again, the KYC norms were not being followed. So that finishes all the RBI circulars. Now let us start with the MCQs. Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, which is the capital market regulator, it has launched the artificial intelligence based chatbot to help the investors seek responses on or information on certain processes. What is the name? Name is SEVA. SEVA, the full form is SEBI's Virtual Assistant. In short, SEVA. So this has been launched by SEBI recently, and it will provide all the general information about securities market, latest circulars of SEBI, grievances redressal, etc. Now for complaint management, grievances redressal, there was a Scores platform that was launched by SEBI in 2011. Now they have launched Scores version 2, and it has started functioning from 1st April 2024. There is a time limit also, 21 days. So if you file a complaint with SEBI, you will get a response within 21 days. 21 calendar days, right? So that is Scores for you. Ideas for Life portal has been launched recently. So this is for inviting the ideas related to products and services for inducing behavioral changes related to environment friendly lifestyle. This portal is developed by the Ministry of Environment in collaboration with whom? So this is UNICEF UVA. Now what is UNICEF UVA? First of all, you understand that. So UNICEF UVA is a skill development program that was started on 1st of November 2019 by UNICEF in India to skill develop the youth who are between the age of 10 to 24 years. This program runs abroad also, in other countries also. There it is known as Generation Unlimited, but in India they call this program UVA. In other countries they call this program Gen U or Generation Unlimited. So UNICEF UVA has partnered with the Ministry of Environment to launch Ideas for Life portal. So basically what happened was PM Modi during the COP26, and you know that COP26 happened in Glasgow. So PM Modi during Glasgow COP26 said we need to adopt lifestyle for the environment, in short life. If we do that, we become pro-planet people. So these are the 7 themes. You can suggest an idea about saving water, saving energy, reducing waste, reducing e-waste, reducing plastic, adopting sustainable food system, or adopting healthy lifestyle. So this is the portal Ideas for Life. Which company has become the 4th unicorn of the calendar year 2024? The first unicorn of 2024 was Krutrim SI, AI company, artificial intelligence company. Then we had a company called Perfios, which became a unicorn. Then very recently Porter became the 3rd company to become unicorn, and now Rapido, which is a bike taxi aggregator company. It has become the 4th unicorn of 2024. Now unicorn, what is a unicorn? Unicorn is a company which touches the market valuation of $1 billion. $1 billion is approximately 8,500 crore rupees. If you take $1 is equal to 85 rupees. As per recently released World Tariff Profile Report, India is the second largest user of non-tariff measures among WTO members in 2023. Which country was the largest user of non-tariff measures? So it was United States of America. United States of America. Now, what are these non-tariff measures? See, basically what happens is, let's say if you want to reduce the trade, reduce the import of goods, or you want to prevent the foreign countries selling their goods in India, so you make those goods costlier. You put a lot of custom duty. For example, there is 100% custom duty on some luxury cars like Mercedes, like Land Cruiser, all these big cars, Toyota, up to 100% custom duty. By doing so, you are making the foreign goods costlier so that Indian people, they don't buy them. Obviously, they will still buy them, but if they are costlier, you are making a deterrent. High price acts as a deterrent. You are reducing the foreign imports. Now, but there are other ways also, which are called non-tariff measures. So this was a tariff measure, but there are non-tariff measures also that you can do. Those are called non-tariff barriers. For example, you put quality restriction. Now those quality restrictions can be so rigid that the foreign companies may not be able to match them. You put technical barriers like phytosanitary measures, labeling requirements, certificates, customs valuation. You put a quota that you can only sell this much product in India, not beyond that. That is also a non-tariff barrier. So you can put administrative hurdles, licensing requirements, data storage requirement, privacy requirements. So these are non-tariff measure. Of course, you can put tariff, you can put customs duty, you can put import tax and all, and you can increase the price of the goods to prevent Indian people from buying them. But there are non-tariff measure also. So America was the largest user of the non-tariff measures, and which was second? So second was India. Second was India, and it's a very important question, right? Non-tariff measure. Moving on. As per recently released report, this report was released by Kantar. Kantar is basically a brand research company and it operates from London, right? So according to their report, which is India's top FMCG brand, it is Parle. Fast moving consumer goods. Fast moving consumer goods means those goods which you buy very frequently, like biscuits, like soap, shampoo, oil, hair oil, all these things are fast moving consumer goods. Then there is something called slow moving consumer goods, also known as durables, which you don't buy that frequently, like AC, like refrigerator. All these things you buy maybe once in 3 years, once in 4 years, all those things. So Parle was number one. Parle was the top fast moving consumer goods brand of India. Which organization has selected 5 entities for test phase under the 5th cohort of regulatory sandbox? So before a company launches its product in the market, it can test the product or a service in the regulated environment of the RBI, that is called regulatory sandbox. It is always better to test your product in a regulated environment so that you are hands-on when you actually launch it in the market. You don't suffer from any RBI pushback. So that is called sandbox facility. It is given by the Reserve Bank of India. And it has been, so 5 companies, they have been allowed to test their products and services with the RBI. Now, regulatory sandbox facility was started by the RBI on 13th of August 2019. And this is for live testing of the new products or services in a controlled environment. Which state government has launched Mukhyamantri Behan Beti Mai Kui Swavlamban Protsahan Yojana, also now known as Mukhyamantri Maiya Samman Yojana, where 1000 rupees is given as a direct benefit transfer directly into the bank account of the woman. So 45 lakh, approximately 45 lakh women, they will benefit in Jharkhand. They will be given 1000 rupees per month directly into their bank account. The age of the woman should be between 21 to 50 years. Which organization has launched the Women Entrepreneurship Program to empower the women entrepreneurs and stimulate economic growth? So they want to encourage women to become entrepreneurs, and we are talking about National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC. Now look, NSDC will also provide certificate. It will be a co-branded certificate in partnership with Britannia Industries Kolkata and National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, which is based in Noida. This institute works under the Ministry of Skill Development, and even in NSDC, 49% ownership is of the Ministry of Skill Development. So this initiative wants to empower 25 lakh women across India. And the top 10 ideas of women, they will be given 10 lakh rupees funding by Britannia. 10 lakh rupees each. 10 lakh rupees each. Recently, which of the following countries has been elected as the Vice Chair of Supply Chain Council under Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity? IPEF is a group of 14 countries that was created in May 2022 for mutual cooperation on 4 pillars. Pillar number 1 is trade. Pillar number 2 is supply chain resilience. Pillar number 3 is clean economy. And pillar number 4 is fair economy. And these 14 countries, they meet time to time to discuss on these global issues. Now they have created 3 organizations recently: Supply Chain Council. They have also created Crisis Response Network and Labor Rights Advisory Board. And they have elected chair and vice chair of all of these. So Supply Chain Council, USA is the chair and India is the vice chair. Crisis Response Network, Republic of Korea is the chair and Japan is the vice chair. Labor Rights Advisory Board, USA is the chair and Fiji is the vice chair. So I'm talking about Supply Chain Council here. So India is the vice chair. That is what it is asked. The answer is India. But you have to remember, you have to remember other organizations also. They have created 3 so far. And on that note, let me remind you that India has also become the chair of a very important organization called Asian Disaster Preparedness Center. Asian Disaster Preparedness Center for the year 2024-25. And the headquarters of ADPC is located in Bangkok. Who has been appointed as the Managing Director of National Housing Bank? National Housing Bank, the answer is Sanjay Shukla. Sanjay Shukla. National Housing Bank started functioning in 1988 on 9th of July and it works under the Ministry of Finance. It basically promotes the housing finance companies, and before 2019 August, it used to be the regulator of the housing finance companies, but not anymore. Now RBI regulates the housing finance companies. As per recent information shared by National Payment Corporation of India, which company has potentially been compromised by a ransomware attack? So ransomware is a malware that will lock up your computer, your software programs, etc. It will ask you for a ransom. Only if you pay a ransom or money, then it will unlock those. So CA Technology gives IT solutions. It is a joint venture between TCS and State Bank of India. TCS and State Bank of India. So CA Technology was attacked by a ransomware, a very dangerous one, right? And it was told by the NPCI. If you talk about the agriculture exports, then what is the rank of India among the top 10 countries? This is the data given by WTO. By the way, 2 more countries have joined WTO recently. One is Comoros, which became the 165th member. And then we have a country called Timor-Leste, which became 166th member. So 166 members are there of WTO, right? So the answer is 8. India is the 8th largest exporter of agriculture goods. Now, how much India exported? $51 billion. In 2023, we were 8th in the list. Number 1 was European Union. Number 1 in this was the European Union. Okay. So European Union is the number 1 exporter and United States of America is number 3. China was at 4th position. Which organization has given a loan of $200 million, approximately 1700 crore, to improve solid waste management and sanitation in 8 states, total 100 cities of India? So this is a loan approved by the Asian Development Bank, and this project will run as a part of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, which is run by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And Swachh Bharat Mission Urban was started in 2021 and it will run all the way till 2025-26. Which organization has entered into a co-lending agreement with C2 Trades and You Grow Capital to facilitate the loans to the MSME? It is SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India. So C2 Trades is a trade receivables discounting platform. On Trades, what happens? The MSMEs, they sell their receivables at a discount. So if they need money, they sell their receivables at a discount. That is what happens on Trades. So it is a Trades platform, C2 Trades and You Grow Capital. So all of these countries, they will give the loans together to the MSMEs. to the MSME. Ugrow Capital is a company that is based in Mumbai. And then we have a company which is based in Noida called C2 Trades. C2 Trades. So that is about SIDBI. By the way, Manoj Mittal has become the chairman of SIDBI recently. Mr. Manoj Mittal. And also, let me tell you one very important thing. So SIDBI has created a fund called Financing Mitigation and Adaptation Projects Fund, FMAP, and they want to put $1 billion in this fund. So out of $1 billion, $215.6 million has been contributed by the Green Climate Fund, which is the largest climate fund in the entire world. Who has been elected as the president of UN ECOSOC, United Nations Economic and Social Council? UN ECOSOC is an organization that was created in 1945. It is based in New York and it looks into the economic and social issues. So Robert Keith Rai, he is a Canadian. He has been elected as the president of UN ECOSOC. And who are the people who have been appointed as the vice president? So Lok Bahadur Thapa of Nepal, Shastov Shazinski of Poland, and Maritza Chen Valverde of Costa Rica. All of the three became the vice presidents. Which organization has launched India's first website for passive funds to facilitate a comprehensive platform for retail investors and enable them to easily access information and understand the Indian passive industry? So first of all, you should know what are passive funds. So basically, passive funds are those funds where you invest and you basically are tracking a market index. In the index, you invest in the same ratio as the companies which form that index. So you don't have to apply your that much mind, right? And you can simply invest your money and put it. So that is called a passive fund, right? So you are basically replicating the performance of a benchmark index. And that benchmark index can be anything. It can be Nifty, it can be Sensex, whatever, right? So that is a passive fund. So who has launched this website? It has been launched by the National Stock Exchange, which was in news recently because it completed 10 crore retail investors. 10 crore retail investors, right? National Stock Exchange is headquartered in Mumbai. Which institute has been granted special consultative status by the United Nations Economic and Social Council? This is an institute called Kaling Institute of Industrial Technology, which is located in Bhubaneswar in Odisha. And this institute has dedicated itself to sustainable development goals. So that is why it has been given a consultative status. Consultative status. So even an organization as prestigious as UN ECOSOC will consult KITE when it comes to sustainable development goals. Which institute and HP India, they have inaugurated ESG professional program to cultivate the leaders to drive sustainable and responsible business practices across India. This is the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, which works under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. It is located in Manesar in Gurugram district of Haryana. ESG means what? Environmental, social and governance. These are called ESG factors. So ESG professional program has been launched recently by Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs in collaboration with HP India. And what is the name of the program? HP Future Impact Leader Program. HP Future Impact Leader Program. Competition Commission of India has approved the merger of two companies. One is called Mangalore Chemicals and Fertilizer, which is the other one. So the other one is called Paradeep Phosphate Limited. Paradeep Phosphate Limited. And Competition Commission of India, it recently celebrated its 15th Foundation Day on 20th of May 2024. Competition Commission of India chairman is Ravneet Kaur. Government of India is undertaking a project. It is building or it is constructing 781 km of green highways. This is called Green National Highway Corridor Project. It is being undertaken in 4 states: Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. So who is giving the funding for this project? This is a very important project from exam point of view. Total money that will be spent on the project is $1288 million approximately. And out of that, almost 40% or $500 million will be contributed by the World Bank. It will be contributed by the World Bank. So why they are called green highway? Because they will be constructed using environment friendly material. Lot of alternate material will be used. NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, has announced the launch of a wallet for inbound travelers across all the nations of the world visiting India. So those foreign tourists who are coming to India, if they want to use UPI they can use using this app. What is the name of the app? It is called UPI One World. UPI One World. Now this app has been made by NPCI in partnership with IDFC First Bank, and there is an international organization known as Transcorp, CORP, Transcorp International Limited. Which agency has signed a grant agreement with the Government of India to implement the project for Human Resource Development Scholarship, which will benefit 36 Indian government officials over the next 4 years. So every year they are going to train nine Indian government officials, and this will run for 4 years. Total 36 officials will be trained. So this will be done by JICA. JICA will provide the necessary money and resources for the same. So approximately 12 crore rupees is what JICA will spend. More than 50 lakh workers, they have registered for Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan scheme. Which state has registered the maximum workers? Out of 50 lakh, maximum 8.25 lakh have been registered in Haryana. Right? Second was UP, around 6.8 lakh. Third was Maharashtra, 6.1 lakh. Now what is this scheme? Well, this is a scheme that was started in 2019, and it was started by the Ministry of Labor and Employment. Right? So once a worker of the unorganized sector becomes 60 years of age, minimum pension that he will get is 3,000 rupees per month. And the worker has to be between the age of 18 to 40 when he is applying for the scheme. The premium he has to pay is between the range of 55 to 200. 55 to 200. Usha Venugopal has been appointed as a chairman and managing director of which organization? So this is Indian Railway Finance Corporation, which gives finance for the railway projects. This is a company, it is a Schedule A company, public sector company, Indian Railway Finance Corporation. This company was set up in 1986 and it is headquartered in New Delhi. Which company has had the maximum revenue for 11th year in a row? You can see Walmart. Walmart has the highest revenue of all the companies in the world. Second is Amazon. Third is State Grid of China. Fourth is a Saudi Arabia's company called Aramco, which is a petroleum and natural gas company. Among the Indian company, Reliance has the maximum revenue, followed by LIC. But globally, Reliance is at 86th position and LIC is at 95th position. As per recent information, Japan's yen currency has surged 2% recently, reaching its highest against the US dollar since January, significantly impacting the yen-funded carry trades and causing the market adjustment. So what is carry trade? So in Japan, what happens if you put the money in the bank in FD, for example, they will give you very less, like 0.1%. That's it. In India, they are giving you 7 to 8%. There they give you 0.1. In fact, at one point of time, it was negative. So you actually pay to the bank to safeguard your money in Japan. The loans are also very cheap because the banks, their cost of acquiring money is so low. So the loans are also cheap. So what people do, they borrow money from the Japanese banks in yen currency. They convert it into US dollar because the cost of acquiring US dollar loans is very high, right? So they borrow yen, they convert it into US dollar, they invest it into the American markets, and then they convert it back to yen and return the money. But what happened now? So the yen surged by 2%. Yen became stronger and stronger compared to the dollar. So exchange rate became unfavorable. Also, the Japanese central bank increased the repo rate. The loans became costlier, right? The FD, they were giving more interest. And as a result, this carry trade in yen completely collapsed. So carry trade means what? It is a trade where you borrow at a very low interest rate and invest in an asset that provides a higher rate of return. Government of India has permitted how much FDI by automatic route for aircraft maintenance, repair and overhaul. So now up to 100% FDI is allowed. 100% FDI is allowed in aircraft maintenance, repair and overhaul business. And automatic route means you don't need the permission of the government to invest. That is under automatic route. Now, Government of India has given a deadline. If there is any public sector company, public sector bank or financial institution, then if it is listed in the stock market, then minimum 25% shares should be held by the normal public like you and me, retail investors. This should be applicable by which date? This should happen by 1st of August 2026. That is the deadline. So currently there are a lot of companies where the public shareholding is not minimum 25%. A lot of banks also. like Punjab and Sindh Bank, for example. Punjab and Sindh Bank, 98.25% it is owned by the central government, whereas central government, this is a listed bank. So central government cannot have more than 75% ownership. So they need to bring it down to 75%, less than 75%, because minimum 25% public shareholding has to be there. Public shareholding has to be there. Which institute has partnered with Industrial Development Bank of India to establish Secure Systems Laboratory aimed at developing and deploying security solutions in healthcare, fintech, and aerospace? And aerospace, the answer is IIT Madras. Answer is IIT Madras. So this will be known as IDBI IIT-M Secure Systems Lab. It will be set up in the campus of IIT Madras, and it will develop security solutions in healthcare, fintech, and aerospace industries. Government of Nagaland has signed MOU with which of the following general insurance companies for disaster risk transfer parametric insurance solution in Kohima in Nagaland. So Government of Nagaland, they will partner with SBI General Insurance Company Limited, and they will give them in the next 4 years a total premium of, in the next 3 years, a total premium of 12.6 crore. That is 4.2 crore per year. You multiply 4.2 crore for 3 years, it becomes 12.6 crore. 12.6 crore. And the total sum assured will be 150 crore for 3 years. Right? So, parametric insurance means what? Parametric insurance covers the probability of an event that is happening. For example, if you take a home insurance, then if there is an earthquake, if there is a damage to your home, only then you will get the claim. If earthquake comes and there is no damage to your home, you will not get any claim. But in parametric insurance, if earthquake comes, you will get the claim. So it covers the probability of an event rather than actual damage that happens. Which ministry is developing Trade Connect e-platform to connect the Indian exporters, MSMEs and entrepreneurs all on one platform? So Trade Connect e-platform was recently made by, it was set up by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and this is to have more exports from the Indian MSMEs. Vietnam India Business Forum happened recently. Which university has signed MOU with Vietnam Academy of Agriculture Sciences Hanoi for cooperation in agriculture research and education? So which university from India has signed this MOU? This is Central Agriculture University in Imphal in Manipur. Also, we have set up Army Software Park in Nha Trang city of Vietnam. We have donated $5 million for the same. And Vietnam Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh was on a visit to India recently. Also, National Maritime Heritage Complex is getting constructed in Lothal in Ahmedabad in Gujarat, and Vietnam will help us in that as well. World Development Report, the middle income trap. India is among 100 plus countries which are in the middle income trap. Who gave this report? This is an excellent report and very important report released by the World Bank. So what does this report say? Well, there are 108 countries in the world which are in the middle income. Middle income means the per capita is between $1,136 to $13,845, right? Now, since 1990, it's been 34 years. We are in 2024. Since 1990, there are only 34 countries which have become high income countries from middle income. So it is very difficult for a country to become a high income country, and we want to become a high income country by 2047. So what do we need to do? And you can see the low and the middle income countries, they constitute 40% of the global GDP. 40% of the global GDP comes from low and middle income country. Now, if you are a low income country, the formula for you is I, that is bring investment. Bring investment. If you are a lower middle income country, so middle income country are of two types, lower middle income and higher middle income or upper middle income. So lower middle income, then there are two I, that is investment, do investment plus infusion of foreign technology. Infusion of or bring foreign technology. If you are a upper middle income country, what you should do? 3I. All the three things high priority. I, that is investment, infusion, but also innovation. So investment, infusion of foreign technology and innovation. So this is a very important MCQ, that what is the formula suggested by the World Bank for low income countries, for lower middle income country and for upper middle income country. For low income country, it is 1I investment. For lower middle income country, it is 2I investment and infusion of foreign technology. And for upper middle income country, it is 3I, that is investment, infusion of foreign technology and innovation. and very less countries, they come out of the middle income trap. Also, they said that it will take India 75 years to reach just 1/4 of the per capita income of America. Per capita income is the average income of a person in a country annually. Randstad Employer Brand Research Report, which is the best company in India to work for, it is Microsoft. Here you can see Microsoft this year is number 1, Tata Consultancy Services number 2, and Amazon was number 3. And auto and auto components is the best performing sector in the entire India. Auto and auto component. What is the upper limit for tax payments through the UPI, which has been announced by the RBI during the 50th monetary policy? Earlier it was only 1 lakh per transaction, but if you are paying your tax, you can pay up to 5 lakh rupees per transaction. And 5 lakh is also the limit for hospital payments and educational institutions. So only for these three, the limit is 5 lakh per transaction. Otherwise, the UPI limit is maximum 1 lakh per transaction. Three global fund houses, they have pumped in money, $275 million total in Hyderabad-based company called Fourth Partner Energy Limited. So which is not one of them. So here you can see $275 million. If you break it down, $125 million has been pulled in by International Finance Corporation, $100 million by Asian Development Bank, and $50 million by Deutsche Investation. So European Central Bank has not put any money into this project. Bharti Enterprises, which is the parent company of Bharti Airtel, it has purchased how much percent stake in Britain's largest telecom company called British Telecom Group? The answer is 24.5%, almost 1/4. 24.5% has been acquired. This is the stake in the British telecom company by Bharti Enterprises. UP government has started a project worth 4,000 crore called Agriculture Business and Entrepreneurship Project. They want to help 1 million farmers in increasing their income. They will provide financial assistance to 1 lakh fishermen also, and they will send 500 farmers abroad for learning advanced agriculture. So this project is funded by which organization? This is a project that has been funded by the World Bank. The World Bank has given loan so that UP government is able to carry out this project. Which organization has announced to set up a public repository of digital lending apps which will help the consumers to identify the unauthorized lending apps? So the banks, etc., they have to maintain this public repository. They have to inform the RBI of any apps which they are launching. So this will have all the information about authorized apps so that you can get to know like which is the authorized app and which is the unauthorized app. This will be done by the Reserve Bank of India. Last year, Reserve Bank of India announced a platform also called Digita. And Digita platform will basically, it will do the same purpose. It will also have a repository of the proper authentic lending apps. And recently, there were 2 more repositories that were launched, and both were launched by a subsidiary of RBI called Reserve Bank Innovation Hub that is based in Bangalore. So one is called FinTech Repository and one is called Emerging Technology Repository or MTech Repository. Who has become the Managing Director and CEO of Multi-Commodity Exchange of India? It is Praveena Rai. Which organization has organized the India-Mauritius Trade Conference in Port Louis in association with India-Africa Trade Council? Which organization is that? So this organization is the India Economic Trade Organization or IETO. India Economic Trade Organization. Basically, India Economic Trade Organization is a business forum, right? Headquartered in Bengaluru, and it was set up in 2013. Also, in Mauritius, the first Janaushadhi store outside India has been opened recently. We are also supporting Mauritius in their fight for Chagos Island against Britain, and we are developing the Aga Lega Island in Mauritius. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupender Patel has inaugurated Indo-American Chamber of Commerce's first Center of Excellence for MSME in India at which place? This was inaugurated recently in Ahmedabad. Indo-American Chamber of Commerce was set up in 1968 to promote the business relations between India and America. Which institute has launched Sathi IBPS program? They will give free content to the students who are from rural area and who are financially compromised so that they can prepare for IBPS, PO, clerk and all these exams. It has been launched by IIT Kanpur, very important. RBI has announced to set up a committee on benchmarking the statistics regularly disseminated by it against the global standard. Who will be the chairman? Chairman will be Michael Patra. Tata Power Solar System has partnered with which bank for financing the rooftop solar projects? Rooftop solar project. So remember, Tata Power has partnered recently with the Bank of India. Tata Power has partnered recently with the Bank of India for rooftop solar installation currently. You know, a scheme has also been started, Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, which is targeting 1 crore rooftop solar projects. Which company has partnered with GOQII for launching Smart Vital Plus smartwatch, where it's a wearable watch, and with this you can do contactless payment also up to 5,000 rupees. So from any wearable device, the maximum payment you can do without entering PIN is 5,000 rupee. So it has been launched in partnership with Kotak Mahindra Bank. It's a wearable smartwatch. It is priced at just 3,500 rupees, and it has been categorized as a medical device by Ministry of Health, because it can tell you your blood pressure, your all those things, it can tell you. SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecom, has partnered with which bank to launch a AI-driven pilot to prevent the payment frauds happening in the cross-border payment. So this is Axis Bank. Axis Bank and SWIFT, they are launching AI-powered solution that will prevent the payment frauds in cross-border payment. Which company has partnered with Vested Finance to democratize global investing for the Indians and NRIs through Global Investing Platform? Global Investing is a brainchild of HDFC Securities in collaboration with a company called Vested Finance. Appointments Committee of the Cabinet has approved which person as the next chairman of SBI. His tenure starts from 29th of August. He is Challa Srinivasullu Shetty. So he will be the next chairman. He will replace Mr. Dinesh Khar. Mr. Dinesh Khar. RBI has also approved the appointment of Indrajit Kamotra as the Managing Director and CEO of Unity Small Finance Bank. Which company has launched these products called Yuva Term Digitum or Yuva Credit Life Digit Credit Life? So basically Yuva Term Digitum is same, Yuva Term is offline, Digitum is online. Similarly, Yuva Credit Life is offline and Digi Credit Life is online. So these are launched by LIC. So let me tell you a little bit about these new initiatives of the LIC, because LIC is there, so definitely this is a relatively important question. So what happens? So first let me tell you about Yuva term or Digitum. As I said, Yuva term is offline, Digitum is online, right? The age at entry should be between 18 to 45. Minimum entry age is 18, maximum 45, and the maturity age should be between 33 to 75. The sum assured minimum is 50 lakh, maximum is 5 crore. Maximum is 5 crore. And of course, there are death benefits also because it is a endowment plan. Then we have a term insurance scheme which is called Yuva Credit Life and again Digi Credit Life. Now same Yuva Credit Life is offline, Digi Credit Life is online, and it's a term insurance. Again the same things, age is slightly different. Age is between 18 to 45 at entry, and at maturity it should be between 23 to 75. Also minimum sum assured is 50 lakh, maximum is 5 crore. Which bank has approved a proposal? It will fundraise 25,000 crore rupees by issuing Tier 1 and Tier 2 bonds. In the current financial year, we are talking about State Bank of India. State Bank of India has decided to raise 25,000 crore rupees by issuing T2 and T1 bonds. State Bank of India has also partnered with Jackson Engineers Limited for their Surya Shakti Solar Finance Program, which provides loans up to 10 crore rupees to commercial and industrial users. Jammu Kashmir Bank has launched a program to empower the farmers of Jammu Kashmir. What is the name of this program? What is the name of this program? It is called Kisan Ka Samman. It is called Kisan Ka Samman. And this program will run all the way till 30th of September 2024. Which company has announced its partnership with United Kingdom based DFI for raising long-term debt funds to promote electric vehicle portfolio? This is company called Muthoot Capital, which is based in Kerala. So they will support the adoption of the electric vehicles. And the name of the company is Muthoot Finance. Also, the partnership is facilitated by Axis Bank also. Axis Bank will also put in 100 crore. Which bank has launched Golden Circle? It's a priority banking program for senior citizens who are above the age of 60 and above. So this is DBS Bank India. DBS is originally a bank from Singapore. Which company has launched Bharat Manufacturing Fund, offering policyholders an opportunity to invest in India's manufacturing sector? So this is PNB MetLife India Insurance Company. PNB MetLife India Insurance Company Limited. Which company has launched India's first NFC card soundbox, which is a two-in-one. It will have mobile QR payment device also, and it will have NFC card payment technology with mobile QR payments. It will have both. So it has been launched by Paytm. The parent company of Paytm is 197 Communication Limited, which is based in Noida. It is available in 11 languages and it has a battery life of 10 days. Which bank has introduced Ant Drishti Braille debit card for visually impaired individuals? It has been launched by Punjab National Bank. Very important question. Which company has become the first fractional ownership platform to receive India's first small and medium real estate investment trust license? What is real estate investment trust? They pool money from different people, they collect money from different people and invest in the real estate, right? So that is what it is. It has been launched by Property Share. That is why it is called fractional ownership. So for one piece of land, there will be not one owner, but multiple owners. And then the price of the land will increase. Then they will sell it off, make profits, and then give it back to the people who invested in the same ratio in which they invested. Reserve Bank of India has granted some companies, there are 3 companies which have been given payment aggregator cross-border license. So there is BillDesk, there is Amazon Pay, and there is Adyen India Technology Services Private Limited. So what are the licenses available? Well, BillDesk has got both export-import license. Amazon Pay and Adyen has got the only import license. There are 3 types of license: export only, import only, and export-import both. So if you are a bank, then while applying, your net worth has to be minimum 15 crore, but it has to increase to 25 crore later on if you want to take a license of payment aggregator cross border. If you are not a bank, then while the time of application itself, your net worth has to be 25 crore minimum, and then you have to maintain it at 25 crore every time. Now there is a Maharashtra based Thomas Cook company, holidays company. It has partnered with NPCI to launch RuPay Dirham. Dirham currency is a UAE currency. It is written as AED. So they have launched RuPay Dirham Forex card. This is the first RuPay prepaid Forex card for Indian travelers who are visiting the UAE. L&T Finance, it is a subsidiary of Larsen & Toubro. So it is a NBFC. It has received the certificate of registration from RBI as a NBFC investment and credit company. Earlier it was simply a core investment company. Now it is a investment and credit company. And investment and credit company was an amalgamation of 3 types of companies: asset finance company, loan company, and investment company. Together they are called NBFC ICC. Axis Bank has launched a special credit card called Primus in partnership with Visa. This is for very rich people, that is ultra high net worth individuals. And Axis Bank has also celebrated Sparsh Week. This is only the second time they have celebrated it, from 5th of August to 9th of August. This is to enhance their customer focused activities. Reserve Bank of India is launching sovereign green bond trading platform in the Gift City in Gujarat that will allow the foreign portfolio investors to invest in sovereign green bonds in India. Sovereign green bonds in India. So that was the video for banking awareness for the month of August. This is Set 1 in English. I'll see you in Set 2. Thank you for watching Study IQ.